When the apocalypse hit, I had two forms, a human form and a zombie form, and I could switch between them freely. When scavenging for supplies, I'd go zombie mode and walk right through hordes like I owned the place. Then when I got back home, I'd flip back to human, sipping red wine, eating hot pot, living good. But not long before all this, a black fog suddenly blanketed the entire world. Anyone who breathed it in turned into a bloodthirsty zombie, and me and a bunch of classmates were trapped in a fourth-floor classroom. We were starving, so me and a few brave ones split up to go find food. But in the end, I was the only one who made it back with anything. But when I got back to the classroom door, my heart sank, because my girlfriend and the rest of the class straight up refused to let me in. Their reason, I had 3 zombies behind me, and what really got me, my girlfriend had the nerve to say, "All righteous, I'm sorry. For everyone's safety, we can't risk letting you in." Bro, I wanted to go off right then and there. When you sent me out to find food, nobody said anything about not taking risks. These people are straight up trash. How did I never see it before? So I turned around immediately and headed for another room on the 4th floor to hide. But I wasted just a little too much time. 3 zombies had already caught up. Without thinking, I chucked the food at them and spun around and shoved open the next classroom door. Got inside and locked it immediately, pressing my whole body against it. Bang, bang, bang! The zombies were ramming their heads into the door. The reason my girlfriend's classroom next door didn't have any zombies attacking was because they'd sealed the door gaps with tape, and on the windows, they'd plastered pages ripped out of textbooks. See, we'd figured out zombies are basically blind. They hunt purely by smell and sound, but I had no tape on me, and there was nobody to help me seal the gaps, so I just had to hold that door solo. And then at that exact moment, 2 more zombies joined in on the ramming. I couldn't hold it anymore. Boom! I got blasted off my feet. I tried to get up and run, but I was too slow. 5 zombies tackled me from behind. One of them immediately went for my throat and ripped out a massive chunk of flesh. I was filled with nothing but regret. Right before I blacked out, I thought of my parents and my little brother. No idea if they were okay. And as time passed, while I was unconscious, a voice suddenly rang out in my head, like something ancient echoing across the ages. The yin-yang heaven grants you the power of transformation. The moment that voice faded, I jolted awake from unconsciousness. I stood up and looked around, but there was nobody there. I shook my head and remembered I'd been taken down by zombies earlier. I dazedly held out my hands to check, and they looked no different from the zombies. Seeing that, I opened my mouth to curse, only to realize I couldn't even speak. I couldn't help but let out a silent sigh. But right at that moment, I suddenly realized I still had my human consciousness, because I could think, I could read the writing on the chalkboard, and I could still recite multiplication tables and classic poetry. The second that hit me, I got so excited I almost jumped up. Then I reached up with my stiff hand and felt my neck. What I felt wasn't smooth skin. It was torn muscle tissue and a shattered throat. My hand trembled. I wanted to get to the bathroom and look in the mirror, but when I tried to walk, I moved like I'd had a stroke, limping every step. I stumbled my way to the bathroom, and the mirror showed me what I'd become. White blank eyes, grayish pale skin. I looked exactly like a zombie, and not just any zombie, a badly wounded one, because my neck had a massive gaping wound. I couldn't accept it. I tried to scream, "I don't want to be a zombie," but what came out was a zombie's raspy shriek. But then I noticed my body seemed to actually be changing. The pale skin I'd had started returning to normal color. The zombie feature started fading away, but the next second, I collapsed flat on the floor. Right then, the wound on my neck started gushing blood. My vision started going blurry, and from outside the door came growling and the sound of running. Looks like zombies caught the smell of blood. I never expected this. I could actually turn back human. But as a zombie, the neck wound was nothing. As a human, that's a death sentence. Massive blood loss, crushed throat, can't breathe. I felt like I was about to die right there. Honestly, I thought I'd be better off as a zombie. The second that thought crossed my mind, my body shifted again. The pain in my neck disappeared. My dark eyes turned white again. In under 5 seconds, I was a zombie again. And right at that moment, the bathroom door burst open with a bang. A zombie came charging in, but it almost immediately lost its target. Started wandering around aimlessly. I was lying on the floor, completely drained. Those 2 transformations back to back had wiped out every bit of energy I had. But deep down, I was pumped, because I could switch between zombie and human freely. That meant my survival game was on a whole different level from everyone else. Then I thought back to that voice in my head. The yin-yang heaven grants you the power of transformation. So this was my awakening moment. But what even is the yin-yang heaven? Why give me this ability? The second I thought about yin-yang, I instantly remembered the yin-yang fish pendant I wore around my neck. I instinctively looked down, and the pendant was gone from my chest. But on my skin, there was now a yin-yang fish tattoo. That pendant was a gift from my dad. He said the pendant was found by chance inside a meteor crater. There's clearly something going on here. One day I'll get to the bottom of it. But right now, the only thing that mattered was staying alive and finding my family. So I started thinking, how do I heal my body and get stronger? And then the answer just appeared in my head. Kill a zombie, then touch its body with your finger, and you can drain its blood energy and purified power to upgrade yourself. It's like I just already knew this. Like how you just know to drink when you're thirsty. I looked over at a zombie body nearby. No idea who killed it. I dragged myself over and pressed my index finger against its face. Immediately, an energy like an electric current shot through my finger into my body. It felt incredible. Then on the wound on my neck, flesh started growing back. In just a few seconds, the wound was already half healed, and my strength and agility got a noticeable boost too. Even the hunger was gone. Okay, we're good. No eating zombies, no eating people. Just one finger poke and I drained the energy. I was burning with the desire to get stronger. The stronger I got, the longer I'd survive this apocalypse. So I walked out of the bathroom, found a solid fire axe, and got ready to go on a full rampage, but when I passed by my girlfriend's classroom, I stopped dead, because the door was wide open. I walked in and looked around. Every single one of those classmates had turned. In the moonlight, I could see the mess on the floor. Looked like they'd turned on each other over food. I scanned through the zombie crowd, until I spotted my zombie ex-girlfriend. Wild. She screwed me over and still didn't make it. Any grudge I had just melted away. Then I walked over to a fat zombie, and poked it with my finger. Nothing happened. So it's confirmed. You have to kill them first to drain the energy. I circled around behind the fat zombie, and swung the axe straight into the back of its skull. It hit the ground with a thud. I stuck out my finger and tried again. That rush hit me again immediately. And right there on the gash in my neck, I could visibly see new flesh growing back. Fully healed in no time. Then I wiped out every zombie in that classroom, and drained all of their blood energy and source power. Then I grabbed the axe, and started sweeping the whole floor. Killing zombies, draining energy, rinse and repeat. Not even a hint of fatigue. I cleared the entire 4th floor fast. Then I threw on a face mask as a disguise. If anyone saw me at this point, they'd never in a million years think I was a zombie. Then I moved down to the 3rd floor, and kept running the same combo. Swing, drain, repeat. After a full morning of this, I had cleared every zombie in the entire school building. 249 zombies total absorbed. Strength and speed both doubled. Sure, zombie mode had no risk, but I just didn't feel comfortable in it. So I decided right then, I needed a safe spot to switch back to human and rest. So I headed to the convenience store on the 1st floor, used tape I found to seal every gap in the doors, then tore open a few workbooks and covered every door and window. Once everything was set, I focused my mind, and my whole body shifted instantly. Just a few seconds. And I went from a gnarly looking zombie to a completely normal human being. But after going human, all my power was completely gone. It was like the zombie form was basically a second body I had. But after switching back to human, I noticed my stomach wasn't really that hungry. Looks like the human form and zombie form share nutrition, or energy I guess. But even if I wasn't starving, I still needed to eat. So I cracked open a bottle of milk and just chugged it, then grabbed a piece of bread and took a couple bites. Thank God my taste buds still worked. I could actually taste how good the food was. But right while I was scarfing it all down, a broadcast suddenly came on outside. All surviving students and staff, make your way to the school flagpole immediately. We are the Shinbei City Emergency Rescue Team. I frowned when I heard that. Didn't expect the rescue team to show up this fast. I jumped up immediately, peeled back a corner of the paper on the door, and saw 20-something people walking in armed with all kinds of guns. Moving carefully, one of them kept announcing over a megaphone. One look and I got it. This was what was left of the city's armed forces, mainly here to rescue the kids. And right at that moment, a pretty girl with brown hair came running out screaming, "Dad!" and bolted toward the rescue team. One of the men in the group saw her coming and rushed forward to grab her in a hug. His voice was shaking. "Thank God. My daughter's still alive." And I recognized her right away. That was Lin Shanshan, the school beauty, also a total academic star. But just then, a teacher came bursting out of the building with a few students in tow, and right behind them, a dozen zombies.